What's going on, y'all? Fabian Speaks. We are back with a video, man. We're doing a reaction to Aaron Page's Christians Are Raising a Mark. The Beast concerns over this. So comment down below. Let me know y'all's thoughts on this, man. We're going to hop right into it.
I want to show you guys a video of an individual who's starting to trend because he created a video talking about the Iran war and how this war is going to set up the system to where the US dollar is going to be replaced with digital currency. And after that, and also considering AI robots, is going to put us into a scenario where the government can effectively control the population and the money that they receive and how they are able to spend this money. Okay. I want to show you guys this video because people in his comment section are saying that the video that he made seems to correlate to end times prophecy that is in the Bible. Okay. And so we can watch this clip and then we can look at the Bible and see exactly like how this would correlate. Okay, let's hop into this video, watch it and react to it. Before we do me a quick favor. Hit that like button for the algorithm so that this video can reach more people like yourself. I truly appreciate you guys. Let's hop in.
Question of this video is, well, what is the next phase? What comes after this? What is the opportunity to centralize power? And here's the best theory that I've come across. In order to understand it, you have to put yourself in the mindset of these central planners, the people who influence the world's policies. Here's the core problem that they have. The first major problem is AI and automation. Once AI is allowed to be unleashed into the economy, it's going to displace a lot of jobs. It's going to be painful because not everyone will be able to adapt. But let's say they do. Let's say, optimistically speaking, AI becomes so productive that we find ourselves in a perfect utopian world of abundance where no one needs to work. What's going to happen then? I think inevitably, we're going to need some sort of universal basic income. If that happens, though, that's going to give society way too much free time, and people will start waking up. They'll start organizing. The political process becomes a real thing again. And that's not good if you're a central planner, because you want to be in control of that system, and you want people to be reliant on it. And you want people to be too busy thinking about how to pay their bills, right? That's problem number one, and it needs to be solved. Problem number two, though, is the US has almost $40 trillion in debt. It's growing faster than the economy, and now with yields going up, the cost of that debt is growing faster and faster. So how do you solve that problem? The way to solve it is that you find someone else to hold the debt for you. You distribute it to the entire world, but instead of distributing it through inflation, right, because that only works as long as you're able to export it, as long as other countries want your assets. But what if they don't? Right? And what if the next distribution phase is not the institutions? What if it's through people, right? What if the best way to distribute this debt is already in everybody's pocket? So here's what I think the next phase of this new monetary system is going to look like. In a nutshell, what I think will happen is the US debt gets privatized and uploaded to the world. Right? Every major corporation will become a bank. Every major app will become a wallet. And every person on earth with a smartphone will become an unknowing creditor to the United States government. They will solve the debt problem and the AI problem at the same time with a digital currency system that funds the government, controls the UBI payments that feeds the people that lost their jobs to AI in the first place, and it gives the central planners a button that they can turn on or off for every single person's financial life. Okay, hold on. That sounds crazy, right?
Okay, so he's about to get into, how this part that's coming up is where people are saying that it correlates to what scripture talks about with not being able to buy or sell unless you receive this mark, right? We're going to look at that. But first I want to say that this is midway through his video. Okay. If you want to watch the entire video, I'll leave his video in the description. Okay. But in the beginning of the video, he just talks about the problem that persists. And then he talks about ways that they're going to try to solve this problem. And he gets to different options. And this is now one of the options that we're listening to, which is a complete digital currency, giving them all control over how much money people receive and who gets money and how they get it and what happens if they don't comply to standards and laws and things like that. He's going to get into that. So let's go ahead and watch more of this and then we'll look at some scripture. All right, let's check it out.
What does that even look like? All right, so imagine Tesla announces a digital wallet. You load it up with dollars. Tesla takes those dollars and invests them into US Treasury bonds earning, let's say, 4 or 5%. Tesla keeps a little, passes some back to you in the form of rewards, discounts on your next car, maybe charging credits, maybe an actual yield, right? You're happy because your money's working for you. Tesla's happy because they're earning a spread on their deposits, and the US government is happy because someone bought more of their debt. Now multiply that across every major corporation on Earth. You'll get Apple Wallet, Amazon Wallet, McDonald's Wallet, Google Pay with yield, every airline, every retailer, every platform we already use. All of them will become distribution channels for US government debt. All of them holding US treasuries as the backing for whatever digital asset or rewards program they'll offer you. Now, if that sounds like some crazy theory, this is literally what the legislation moving through Congress right now requires. It's called the Genius Act. And what it says is, any company that wants to issue a stablecoin, a dollar-pegged digital asset, must hold US treasuries or equivalent safe assets as the backing, dollar for dollar, which means corporations will have to buy real government debt first. And this has already been successfully tested with a company called Tether, the company behind the biggest stablecoin in the world. It holds over $120 billion in US treasuries right now. Right, that makes them one of the biggest holders of US government debt on the planet. In fact, bigger than some countries even. And Tether was the system's test. Now, imagine this same dynamic, but with the brand recognition of Tesla, the distribution of Apple, the loyalty programs of every airline and retailer we already use. You're not asking people in Argentina or Vietnam to trust some sketchy crypto company they've never heard of. You're asking them to trust the brands they already love and use in their own countries, brought to them by the courtesy of freedom. And in exchange for that trust, they'll get yields, they'll get discounts, they'll get utility, they'll get to protect their savings and purchasing powers from their corrupt dictators and governments, right? Now, behind the scenes, they become creditors to the United States government. That is how you offload trillions and trillions of dollars in debt globally. All you need is CBDCs, legislation, and 8 billion smartphones. Now, unfortunately, this system, as convenient and generous as it sounds, is also going to be the most sophisticated financial control grid that will ever be built. And the reason I say that is because it's also already been tested. Tether has already frozen wallets. It's happened dozens of times. It has sanctioned addresses, it's flagged accounts, it's regulatory requests. All it takes is a line of code, and they can turn your money off. Now, you'll still own your money, technically. It just might not work on Tuesdays or in certain stores to buy certain things.
Sound like just another regime of control to me. And to his point about these digital wallets, to where these entities will just shut these things off. That's where the risk lies, right? I mean, I've heard of this story countless times, to where people, align themselves with these companies, these corporations, or investment hedges, funds, whatever it may be, pyramid schemes, to where you're generating income, but the income is being stored within some type of digital wallet that you don't really control. You can access the account, maybe you can withdraw from it. And that's why I was always an advocate for people who are in these programs or plans to continuously withdraw the income into your private bank account, right? Because you never know when, they'll lock the grid down, whatever he's even referencing, to where, like, you don't truly own anything. So I was always an advocate of, always withdraw those funds, put them in your bank account in case anything goes wrong. Lo and behold, I knew a couple of people who were in some sort of pyramid scheme. And they had this app to where they housed all of their savings, so to speak. Was there one day, gone the next, just like that.
Or if you said something the algorithm didn't like, or you didn't get vaccinated, or if you bought too much meat that week, and meat is energy intensive and we need to conserve energy, right? And that's just Tether. It's a relatively small private company, but scale this capability to a system where every major corporation's digital wallet is going to be susceptible to US regulation, governed by US law. And I think you're going to get something that makes the SWIFT banking system look like peanuts. Now, SWIFT can cut a whole country off from the global financial system. That's a lot of power. But this new system will be able to target anyone, no matter where they live, even if that country and its laws prohibit this system. It's already too late. It's outside their control. So what are they going to do to fight that? You will start seeing them disable the App Store and turn off the internet. That's how they're going to fight it. And the beautiful, or maybe the terrifying part about this, is that no one forced anyone into the system. We've already all signed up to it.
All right, look, I want to show y'all this video real quick. It was on Fox, I believe, in 2023. This was posted on TikTok in 2023, okay? And it's talking about if our dollar was devalued, if in how that would cause the economy to crash, and then how that would bring the best opportunity for the central bank digital currency to be put in place. Okay, this was on Fox News. All right, check this out.
Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. There will be no defeat like that. That will take us away from being even a great power.
Putin announced this week that Russia will begin using the Chinese yuan for international payments instead of the dollar. Saudi Arabia is also in talks with Beijing to do the same thing. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, they're in talks with Iran as well to consider an economic alliance with China and Russia. And they can even be joining the BRIC countries, which is an acronym for these countries here, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries all have emerging economies. So what happens if our economy and the U.S. dollar are no longer the world's dominant currency?
It's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the U.S. dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status. Whether it's energy prices, whether it's your food prices, the entire global economic system is reliant on the safe and secure dollar. But that is no longer true, again, because we've been printing money like crazy and devalued the power of the dollar. Here at home, you know what it's going to mean for us? It's going to mean raging inflation, so much worse than anything we have ever experienced will. And I'll tell you, they're setting it up so that they can then come to the rescue by introducing central bank digital currencies. If they were to do that, and the United States already has a pilot program, that means the loss of your individual economic freedom, because the government will have total access and control of everything you buy and sell and the ability to turn it off like that.
Look, I don't mean to be fear-mongering if that's what people think is happening, but I mean, these things are, you know, we got to be proactive and have an understanding of what's taking place in the world, especially when it involves us, you know what I mean? And so we'll see what the outcome of everything is going to be, but I mean, it's true. The pilot program is already put in place. We see what's taking place with the Iran war, with the Strait of Hormuz and the oil being, you know, pretty much locked in, and Trump and that whole situation.
I'm wondering when he's going to get to the part in the video where they're talking about the so-called
y'all are talking about
Mark of the Beast.
Jesus. Where is he at? I'm watching this person right here cause fire to come down from heaven as a sign to show us who he is. Like, so seems to be speaking globally. So into the hands of the government is global. And this right here is going to be seems to be speaking globally. So whatever's going to take place in America may just be the start. You know what I'm saying? But this right here is alluding to an entire global system to where no one that doesn't have the mark is going to be able to buy or sell. So I'm not just speaking about America. I want to read this whole thing because I want to talk about this beast as well. because I think this would tie into it directly, like the entire world being fooled by Satan and these beasts that are working for Satan. Okay. But let's look at this. It says, then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. It had two horns like a lamb. I don't want to read that one. Or yes, I do. It had two horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. Okay. So imagery, a lamb looks gentle. A lamb looks trustworthy, right? Harmless, like it's not going to harm you, but it spoke like a dragon. So what's coming out of his mouth, fiery, right? And this is just imagery. Like, it spoke like a dragon, like destruction. It exercised all the authority of the first beast on its behalf and made the earth and all its inhabitants worship the first beast whose fatal wound had been healed. And it performed great signs. This is the part right here that I think is extremely important. It performed great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. Now, when we look back at Jesus doing miracles and signs, right? Jesus didn't do these things only for the sake of people believing him. He also did it for the will of the Father, right? And the difference between Jesus and these beasts is that the beasts, their goal is to get people to believe in them, get people to trust in them, and they are going to do it. The signs they're going to perform is only for that. So like they're going to be performing signs that people are going to be like, man, they had sections where you live at. So like the sections are done. I watched this a while back, right to the central bank, and they're going to either flag it or not, right? That's what it would seem like. It's going to be flagged and it's not going to go through, or it is. And
we're going to go ahead and jump ahead, right? Because I want to see.
Movie. Let me see if I can put it on the screen because it's crazy. All right, let me know if y'all remember this movie right here. I watched this a while back. Good movie, really good movie. But dang, when you think about how similar this is to
it's
like
what could
possibly take
good.
place in the future, it's kind of crazy because in this movie, if you haven't seen it, like you get time. So your currency is time, and it's on your arm. It's digital. It's controlled by the governments. And once your time is out, you pretty much are done, right? You're no longer existing. And the time starts when you turn 25. And after you turn 25, the clock starts ticking down. And the only way it goes up is if you have a job and work. And the problem was that a lot of people, there were sections inside of like they had sections where you live at. So like the section, like the poor had its own section, the middle class had a section, the rich had a section. And you couldn't get into the rich or middle class if you were poor because there was a barrier, right? And so, and also the jobs you could get was only tied to your section. Like you couldn't get jobs in the middle class or the upper class because you couldn't even go to that side, right? And so the rich had minimal time and everything they worked for, so they had to run everywhere. It's a possibility of.
I don't know what he's getting at, man. This whole video's been very long and drawn out. You know, I'm sorry. Like I was just waiting to hop in terms of commentary here and there, but even the initial video where to the gentleman's talking about, like maybe I missed it, maybe I skipped
Digital
over
currency.
it, but they didn't really hop into the form of the mark of the beast. Maybe he's referencing these apps and these, you know, the currency shift and the platforms that we will be using as being deemed as a tool, as a form of control, right? But all right, I guess we'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? But this end time movie, I can see the correlation in terms of, but this is going on in today's day and age. We have classes, a middle class, we have a lower class, people who live in poverty, homeless, whatever it may be, and the elite, right? So it's like there's that reality already exists to where if you're not in a certain tax bracket, your life isn't really replicated. Your life isn't reflecting such. So I get it. You know, a lot of people, when COVID came about, a lot of people were saying that the actual mark of the beast was giving the vaccine out. You know, people were afraid to get the vaccine, this, that, and third, because they thought that was a additional form of control. Maybe that's going to be used to try to eliminate part of the population. Who knows? But it's just another form of control, man. That's all it is. But obviously, the word scripture holds true to, you know, the come about of the Antichrist and things of that lead towards end times, right? We know that these things will play out. What the actual mark of the beast looks like now, or what will come to be, we don't really know. There's been a multitude of theories, so to speak, chips being put into your flesh. Like, we don't know, man. Comment down below. Let me know y'all's thoughts on this. I think this is the initial part of the video where the gentleman was talking was just another whacked out Looney Tune theory on, you know, the progressive nature of technology and how currency is shifting and how people are going to be investing money in assets and leveraging and things of that sort. So that's cool and all, but like, that future, so to speak, is already here today. People are talking about things that like are already currently happening now. You know, hence the Bible revealing a lot. But I guess what I'm saying is this conversation doesn't sound too far-fetched. And I'm talking about the initial conversation the gentleman was talking about. I didn't understand where they were connecting the dots for the mark of the beast. But comment down below, let me know your thoughts. We'll see you on the next video, man. Peace.